I-5 over a tractor-trailer crash. The ramp closure on Wade Avenue, I-440 interchange.
And our taste of spring begins today, and the spring warm-up continues into the weekend. How many times we see near record highs, and when we start to factor in some spring-like storm chances coming up.
And too close to call. Several big North Carolina races are undecided this morning. Everything you need to know after primary elections wrapped up last night. WRAL News at 8 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The time now is 8 a.m. on your Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 50. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. Of course, we got a lot going on.
Yes, we do.
After the election day, and of course, that huge incident on Wade Avenue. But first, let's get an update on your forecast with meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
Yeah, and you know, we're getting over the hump, so are the temperatures. Really starting to climb as we go throughout the day today. Really nice view in Anger. It started out cloudy this morning. Now the sun has broken through. Wilson's at 52. Raleigh's at 50 degrees. We're just shy of that in Fayetteville. Goldsboro checking in at about 51. So out the door, maybe a light jacket, but you're not going to need it for long. By the lunch hour, temperature 65 to 70 degrees. Go out, support some of our local restaurants. Maybe sit outside if you've got a lunch break today. As you're coming home from the office, temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Goldsboro 74, Raleigh 76, Lewisburg at about 75. Everybody in good shape today. And really, for anything you got going on this week, we'll give you the green light. Just a caution light on Sunday for the chance for showers and storms. I'll show you if that's going to affect your weekend plans coming up. Ken?
All right, Chris, so staying on top of that breaking news in West Raleigh, more specifically on Wade Avenue. Here's what we're talking about. You can see the crash sign right here near the interchange of 440 on those eastbound lanes. Sky 5 is over that scene right now. You can see what we're talking about. First responders are there on the scene. It involves this semi-truck. It happened about an hour and a half ago. We've got a crew on the way to the scene to keep you updated here in the WRAL Traffic Center. So if we come back here, I'll show you exactly how to get around this, because here's the crash scene heading to 440 eastbound. Your best bet really is to take Blue Ridge Road right here, and even that's getting a little jammed up, but a lot of people are taking Blue Ridge Road just to avoid what's happening there on Wade Avenue, because we're told from our friends at Raleigh Wake 911 this could be closed for most of the day, so keep that in mind. Southern loop of the Beltline. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road, those are the westbound lanes moving away from us. And did you see that sun glare delay on those eastbound lanes? Be mindful of that, too. Hey, you're looking at an 8-minute delay on that southern loop of the Beltline. No delays if you're coming in from Gardner, Johnston County. And really quickly, as you widen out the view, you're looking at a 9-minute delay out Finson, Wake Forest. And if you're coming in from Nidale, you got about a 7-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
A busy day on the road. This morning, we have team coverage bringing you the latest on the big races in our area. Some are still tight with no winner declared this morning. That includes the Republican primary for state Senate. Just 2 votes separate incumbent Phil Berger and his challenger, Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page. So let's get right over to WRAL's Kirsten Clark, who is following this race. And Kirsten, Berger losing his seat could really shake things up at the state legislature.
Yeah, Laura, this is quite remarkable. Legislative leaders rarely lose elections, much less primaries. But as you mentioned, this could very well be the case in this race, bringing a big shakeup to North Carolina's most powerful lawmaker. Senate leader Phil Berger was first elected in 2001. He became the Senate president pro tem in 2011. As leader of the Senate, he has strong influence over which measures advance in the chamber. Meanwhile, Sheriff Sam Page gained the trust of many triad voters even before running for state Senate. In this race, Page campaigned on the notion that the Senate leader has lost touch with the needs of his district. WRAL state government reporter Will Doran explains it could be days before we know who the true winner is in this race.
It would be a shocking result if Phil Berger loses this race. He's arguably the most powerful politician in North Carolina. But this one is still truly too close to call. It's almost certainly heading towards a recount, and that's something we're going to be following closely in the days to come.
So here's what's to come. Over the next 10 days, election officials will count any provisional ballots and any votes cast by voters overseas. If the separation between these two candidates still remains below 1%, there could be a recount. Live in Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Well, we now know who will be on the November ballot for North Carolina's open U.S. Senate seat. After earning President Trump's endorsement, Republican Michael Whatley came out ahead with the majority of the votes, and former Governor Roy Cooper will, as expected, be the Democratic nominee. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is watching this race, which could decide control of the U.S. Senate.
Democrat Roy Cooper and Republican Michael Whatley will be going head-to-head in the general election. The economy, cost of living, and tariffs were all major themes in Cooper's victory speech last night. He says the cost of living crisis was what motivated him to even get into this race.
The cost of groceries, child care, utilities, rent, health care, skyrocketing. Just overnight, we saw the price of gas spike.
Whatley says his campaign will focus on strengthening the economy, adding jobs. He promised voters he'd create a safer state while praising President Trump's policies.
A choice between a conservative champion for North Carolina, who will be an ally for President Trump in the Senate, or a champion for the failed policies of the left.
This November election is so critical because it could help determine which party controls the U.S. Senate. Cooper's first event to kick off his general election campaign starts this morning at 11 o'clock here in Raleigh, and we're working to find out when Whatley will hold his first event. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And the results for the 4th Congressional District's Democratic primary are still undecided. Incumbent Valerie Foushee currently leads challenger Nida Alum by 1 percentage point. That places the race in recount territory, and it's just too close to call this morning. And while this race for the 4th Congressional District is a primary, it's a race for the most Democrat-leaning district in our state. The winner will likely take the House seat. In 2022, Foushee beat Alum by about 10 percentage points.
Closely watched Democratic primary for Wake County District Attorney Wiley Nickel has won his party's nomination. He earned 49% of the vote, beating out Sharita Walton and Melanie Shakita. Nickel most recently served in the U.S. House for the North Carolina's 13th district. He chose not to run for re-election after his district was redrawn to become a heavily favored Republican area. And in the Democratic primary for Durham District Attorney, incumbent Satana DeBerry will likely regain her seat. She beat out competitor Jonathan Wilson, earning 61% of the vote.
And we will have much more throughout this newscast. And you'll want to hop over to our YouTube page. That's where we'll have the full speeches from Roy Cooper and Michael Whatley. We also have thoughts from Phil Berger and Sam Page on their race. And head over to WRAL.com for information about your local races.
We're following some breaking news right now. A crash in Raleigh taking out a fire hydrant. The WRAL breaking news tracker was at the scene just after 2 o'clock this morning on Dandridge Drive in Biltmore Hills. After hitting the hydrant, officers say the car was abandoned. Officers say the car appears to have been stolen. No one was hurt in that crash. We've reached out to Raleigh police to find out exactly who could be responsible for this.
Staying on top of new developments now overnight in the war on Iran. Any new leader in Iran will be, quote, an unequivocal target for elimination. That's according to Israel's defense minister on X. Yesterday, officials selected the supreme state leader's son as the new supreme leader of Iran after his father was killed in a U.S.-Israeli airstrike. So here's what we know right now. Israel says it's begun what it calls broad-scale strikes across Iran this morning. This is happening as Iran is expanding its strikes. That includes launching drone attacks across the Gulf, hitting the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia. The Iranian government says nearly 1,045 people have been killed in Israel and American strikes. 11 people have also been killed in Israel. The Pentagon identified the 4 of the 6 U.S. soldiers killed as well in a drone strike in Kuwait. So happening today, the Senate will vote on a war powers resolution that would block President Trump from ordering more strikes.
Happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, Laura, I can tell you right now that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is in the process of speaking on the war on Iran. Let me tell you some of the quotes that I took away in the past couple of minutes. He's only been talking for about 5 or so. He says, one clear message, quote, America is winning decisively, devastatingly, and without mercy, end quote. He also wanted to really emphasize 2 points. He said that we are only 4 days into this in terms of America's military in Iran. He said the metrics are shifting and more forces are arriving. And then he said the second point is the emphasis of the first point, only 4 days in. He also said that when it comes to the adversaries over in Iran, quote, they are toast and they know it. He also said that we only have begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities just 4 days in. Now, he's still speaking, as you see right here, so give me a little bit. I'm going to go listen in, see what else he has to say, and I'll report back in about, 20 or so minutes here at the WRAL Live Center.
Chris, thank you for those updates from the Pentagon. So be sure to check out the WRAL YouTube page. That's where you'll find more coverage of the war on Iran, including a breakdown from WRAL's Ken Smith here on why we're referring to the conflict as a war. You can just search WRAL on YouTube.
A former Wade County teacher and youth pastor is facing child sex charges. Micah Brondike is charged with indecent liberties with a minor, soliciting a child by computer, and sexual exploitation. Holly Springs police say he was charged after an undercover operation. The Roseville High School principal sent a note to parents saying Brondike was a former career and technical teacher and assistant soccer coach at Roseville High until 2024. Now, his wife, Chloe Brondike, is currently an assistant principal at Roseville High School. She's facing felony charges related to drug possession. The principal there says she has been suspended with pay.
Your time now, 8:11. Military families respond. The war on Iran is hitting close to home. How those with loved ones at Fort Bragg feel about deployments. Chris?
And today's just the beginning of our spring warm-up. It's only going to continue for the rest of the week. We'll show you why and how many days we'll see temperatures nearing record levels. That's when we return right here on Fox 50. 8:14 this morning. The benefits to being an early riser is sometimes getting to see things like this. Jason in Goldsboro getting a good shot of the SpaceX rocket launch that happened just after 5:50 this morning. Now we've got plenty of sunshine. We started out the day with quite a bit of cloud cover over North Hills. Now it's nothing but sun and temperatures rising pretty quickly. High pressure is going to keep temperatures rising as we go throughout the next several days. It's also going to act like a defenseman and keep a lot of that widespread rain that, quite frankly, we could use. It's going to keep it to the north and west, at least for the time being. As we head towards Sunday, about a 30% chance of rain for now, indicating the scattered nature of what we see. That could carry over into Monday as well. We'll show you if that's going to play a big role on weekend plans coming up. Ken?
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of that breaking news there in West Raleigh. We're talking a real mess on Wade Avenue. There's the crash site involving an overturned tractor trailer. Here's what we got. We got Ali Cadlebar on the scene. This is what you're looking at in terms of Sky 5. Ali just got there just a little while ago. And Ali, what are you seeing right now, and how can you describe what happened?
Yeah, well, we are seeing that overturned tractor trailer. It's down there. We can see it laying on its side. I just got off the phone with Raleigh police. They say no one got hurt, but they say that this is going to be a prolonged cleanup because there was a spill, a diesel fuel spill involved in this as well. So we see Raleigh police are here blocking off this entrance to I-440. We see a fire department out here as well as a tow truck, but they're probably here to flip this 18-wheeler back over whenever they can clean up all of the diesel fuel that was spilled. But of course, again, no injuries. This could take a while. So if you are heading this way, Ken, what should people do?
Video, and from that video you can see 440 eastbound in the distance. So back here live into WRAL Traffic Center, here's what we're looking at. Here's a crash scene right here. That was the 440 eastbound lane. So if you're coming east on Wade Avenue this morning, your best bet will be to get off on Blue Ridge Road and avoid Wade Avenue at this point. I'll keep watching this for you here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Okay, Ken, thank you. With North Carolina being home to one of the largest military bases in the world, Fort Bragg, and several others, including Camp Lejeune, we're told that many military families in the area are feeling uneasy. So WRAL spoke to members of the Military Family Advisory Network who call this a difficult and uncertain time for the families of the men and women engaging in the conflict in Iran. They tell us whether this is your first time or fifth time having a loved one fight in an overseas conflict, the level of concern is still the same.
There is an inherent anxiety that comes with this type of news, anxiety around being uncertain of what may be happening involving their loved one, uncertainty about what may be coming next for them and their family. And that impacts every aspect of our lives.
They also say during this time, neighbors and friends may ask for updates on loved ones fighting overseas. But for their safety and the safety of others, it's important to remember operations security. And if you are a military family in need of help, there are resources. You can visit WRAL.com for more. A consulting company is recommending Hillsborough raise its water and sewer rates. It's calling for 7.5% hikes over the next 3 fiscal years. The firm cites rising operating costs, partly due to damage from Tropical Depression Chantal. Town leaders say it's too early in the budget process to know what next year's rates will be. The firm is also recommending changes to how customers are charged for water usage.
Today, Wake Tech's president will testify before Congress, specifically the U.S. House Committee on Education and Workforce. Dr. Scott Rawls is set to discuss how they prepare students for the workforce as employers start to rely on AI. The hearing gets started around 10:15 this morning.
WRAL's 5 on Your Side will help you sort out legal questions that you may have for free. We are teaming up with the North Carolina Bar Foundation for their annual For All statewide day of service. Hundreds of licensed attorneys will be available to take your calls and questions. From government benefits to criminal charges, traffic violations, or even bankruptcy issues. You can get your questions ready for lawyers on call. The line will be open Friday from 10 a.m. till 7 p.m.
Today, students all across the state will run through a tornado drill. It starts around 9:30 this morning. It's all part of North Carolina's Severe Weather Preparedness Week. This annual statewide event is a reminder to make plans before any danger comes.
Okay, right now we are here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center and desk with meteorologist Chris Michaels. And Chris, this is what we have been waiting for. Yeah. Spring-like weather, it's here.
It's here, yeah, and it's sticking around for quite some time. Enough nice. For a dog walk here. Check out this picture. This is Ozzy. I love when people name their dogs human names. It's just even cuter for me. So anyways, Ozzy seems to be enjoying the spring weather, and we hope that you will too. Here we are out the door this morning. Temperatures 47 to 50 degrees. Cary's at 48, Garner 49. It's just enough for a light jacket, maybe a sweatshirt, something to that effect. You're not going to need it very long, though. As we go throughout the morning, temperatures rise a lot more quickly than they did in recent days. For the lunch hour, temperatures 65 to 70 degrees. Going to feel good to take lunch outside if you have the opportunity to do so. Later this afternoon, high temperatures generally between 74 to 76, and that's for most, if not all, of the area. So it's not like one town is going to see a big temperature difference as opposed to others. And even by the evening, temperatures still 65 to 70, so grilling out will be pretty nice. That's going to be the case for the rest of the week, guys. Southwest breeze is bringing in some warmer air. It continues through Thursday. Once that breeze gets a little stronger, you're going to blow in some warmer air even by Friday and then by Saturday, whereas most showers and storms, they're going to stay off toward the north and west, and we'll start to see the potential for record highs even. So today we're about 15 degrees above average. As we get toward Friday, we're pushing record territory with highs around 82 to 83 in Raleigh and Fayetteville. And then Saturday, you can pretty much copy and paste the temperature, 82, 83 degrees, very close to record highs. Maybe a stray shower or storm Saturday evening. For the time being, on Sunday, we're going to keep our chances at about 30%, indicating that showers and storms would be scattered. So there's no need to go canceling plans, but be checking back just in case as we're starting to settle into a little bit of an unsettled weather pattern by early next week. But even still, warm and actually humid. Ken?
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of that breaking news in West Raleigh, more specifically Wade Avenue. There's a situation where Wade Avenue is completely backed up, I should say, as a result of an overturned tractor semi. And you can see when purple shows up, that entrance ramp to 440 eastbound completely shut down. Let's give you a live look at that scene with the help of photographer Michael Joyner. You can see exactly what we're talking about. That's the overturned tractor trailer right there. According to Ali Cadlebar on the scene, it also involves a spill. So hazmat teams are on the way. There's a tow truck there. It's going to take a while for them to right that situation. So this area could be closed for most of the day. So back here live into the WRAL Traffic Center, here's where that crash scene is. So if you're coming east on Wade Avenue this morning, your best bet will be to get off on Blue Ridge Road and avoid what's happening there on Wade Avenue. We'll keep you updated, of course. The other congested spot is I-40, the southern loop of the Beltline is I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Look at that sun glare delay coming eastbound. Be mindful of that. But this is usual congestion that we see this time of the morning on that southern loop of the Beltline from the 440 split and southeast Raleigh over the US 1 in Cary. Right now, you're looking at a 6-minute delay if you're on that southern loop of the Beltline. That's the situation in Wade Avenue. But again, this is the westbound lane. So this 5-minute delay is likely onlooker delay, people looking to see what's going on. So 5 minutes delay if you're navigating I-40 westbound. Right now, the view right now, here's what we're looking at. You're looking at an 8-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest on US 1. Just a 5-minute delay if you're coming in off of Nightdale from I-87. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown around the Smithfield Road exit. We'll stay on top of this here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Ken, thank you. Still ahead now, 2 votes apart. A state Senate race is too close to call. The potential shakeup coming to the state legislature. Plus, historic school demolition. Wake County Public Schools chose to rebuild and not renovate, while alums are opposed to this decision.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time now is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to Ken Smith with breaking news on that ramp from Wade Avenue to I-440, Ken.
Yeah, we got a real mess here in West Raleigh. You can see that crash involving an overturned semi shutting down the entrance ramp on Wade Avenue to 440 eastbound. Here's a live look at that scene with the help of photographer Michael Joyner. You can see first responders on the scene. Apparently, according to Ali Cadlebar, who's working with Michael, says there's some type of spill. It's going to be a hazmat situation. This place can be closed for quite some time today. So bringing you back here into the WRAL Traffic Center, if you're coming east on Wade Avenue this morning, you definitely want to take Blue Ridge Road as an alternate route. I'll keep you updated here at the bottom of the hour on Fox 50.
Yeah, Ken, what a mess. Meanwhile, weather-wise, nothing messy about it. Temperatures by 11 a.m. in the 60s. We'll already be in the 70s by 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to feel nice to take a walk, a jog, a bike ride, something like that. This afternoon, high temperatures across the board, 73 to 76 degrees. And it's only the beginning. Even our morning lows are going to be nice and mild, 55 into the low 60s this weekend, with afternoon highs in the upper 70s and lower 80s. We'll show you what's causing this warm-up and if there's any sign of it breaking over on Fox 50.
Okay, Chris, thank you. A crash in Raleigh took out a fire hydrant. This happened just after 2 this morning on Dandridge Drive in Biltmore Hills. After hitting the hydrant, officers say the car was abandoned. They say the car appears to have been stolen. No one was hurt. The Democratic nominee for North Carolina's 4th congressional district is still undecided this morning. Incumbent Valerie Foushee currently leads challenger Nita alum by 1 percentage point. That places the race in recount territory. Coming up next on Fox 50 now, a North Carolina Senate race is just too close to call with just 2 votes apart. And up next on Today, a one-on-one.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
That breaking news takes us to West Raleigh. An overturned tractor rig on I-440 eastbound. It's near the Wade Avenue eastbound lanes. You can see first responders there. I'll let you know how to get around this major shutdown.
And our taste of mid-spring, it begins today with temperatures in the mid-70s. I'll show you why that's actually the coolest daytime high that we see over the next 7 days coming up.
Also coming up, tracking election results. We have team coverage bringing you the latest on the big races all across our area, what the results could mean heading into November.
And serious charges. A former Wake County teacher and youth pastor facing multiple child sex charges. Why his wife, an assistant principal, is also facing charges now. We have a lot of news to get to here on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for staying with us on Fox 50. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get right to meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking a warm-up.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, this morning already starting out nice and comfortably. There's some sunshine over Zebulon, whereas earlier in the morning it was looking pretty gray. But right now, most of us around 50 to 55 degrees. Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, and Wilson checking in at 52. So out the door, maybe just a light jacket briefly, but you're not going to need it for long. Your midday temperatures about 65 to 70 degrees and highs making it well into the 70s this afternoon. Here's what's causing that. A nice breeze out of the southwest is going to bring in the warmer air that's sitting southwest of here. Heading into tomorrow afternoon, you may briefly touch 80 degrees, and then heading into Friday, looking at high temperatures in the low 80s, which could tie the record of 82 that was set back in 1967. We'll show you another day that has the potential to get close to record warmth. That's coming up in a few minutes. Ken?
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of that breaking news in West Raleigh, more specifically on Wade Avenue. You can see the huge delays it's causing on Wade Avenue is an overturned tractor trailer. You can see it right here, shutting down that entrance ramp to 440 eastbound. We got Ali Cadlebar on the scene in the WRAL breaking news tracker. So, Ali, what do we know so far?
Now, from Raleigh police, we know that there were no injuries, but we do know that it is going to be a very long cleanup. And we want to show you this cleanup happening right now. We can see that tractor trailer overturned. We also know from Raleigh police that there was diesel spilled on this on-ramp here. So that's what's taking this prolonged cleanup. There's also a tow truck out here getting ready to flip it back right side up. Now, we do have video from Sky 5 showing what this crash looks like from above. And you can see just this overturned 18-wheeler. Now, we are working to find out when this on-ramp onto 440 and 40 from Wade Avenue will reopen. But Ken, Raleigh, the city of Raleigh is actually asking people to take an alternate route. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, you can see from that video, you can see 440 eastbound in the distance. So back here in the WRAL Traffic Center, here's where the crash scene is, 440 eastbound. So if you're coming east on Wade Avenue, where we're seeing a huge backup, your best bet is to take Blue Ridge Road exit and work your way off of Wade Avenue right now. As Ali said, this could be a long situation there on Wade Avenue. So we'll keep you updated, of course. The other issue, I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road. Look at that sun glare delay from that camera, right? We're seeing a little bit of congestion on that southern loop of the belt line. Here's what we're looking at. Really a 9-minute delay between the 440 split there on southeast Raleigh over to US 1 in Cary. No delays whatsoever if you're coming in on from Garner and Johnston County. As we widen out the view really quickly, we're picking up a little bit of delay coming in on US 1 from Apex and a 9-minute delay if you're coming south on US 1 out of Wake Forest. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
This morning, we're waiting on the final election results in multiple races across the Triangle and North Carolina. WRAL has team coverage on the key races that we are tracking this morning. So let's begin here. In the Republican primary to represent the Senate's 26th district, longtime state Senate leader Phil Berger is trailing his Republican challenger Sam Page from Rockingham County by just 2 votes. WRAL's Kirsten Clark was at the state legislative building with the latest.
Legislative leaders rarely lose elections, much less primaries. But that very well could be the case in this race, bringing a big shakeup to North Carolina's most powerful lawmaker. Senate leader Phil Berger was first elected in 2001. He became the Senate president pro tem in 2011. As leader of the Senate, he has strong influence over which measures advance in the chamber. Meanwhile, Sheriff Sam Page gained the trust of many Triad voters even before running for the state Senate. In this race, Page campaigned on the notion that the Senate leader has lost touch with the needs of his district. We spoke with both candidates at their watch parties last night. Take a listen to what they had to say about this race.
We've got to make sure that every legal vote gets counted, and I look forward to moving through that process in the next days and weeks. We will see kind of how the outcome turns out.
I've worked for 28 years covering our county, working with the law enforcement back and forth across the Guilford County border. We know each other, the citizens know me, and they trust me.
Over the next 10 days, election officials will count any provisional ballots and votes cast by overseas voters. If the separation remains at less than 1% at that point, there could be a recount. In Raleigh, Kirsten Clark, WRAL News.
Well, as for the primaries for a U.S. Senate seat in North Carolina, the winner on the Republican side is former party chair Michael Whatley, and on the Democratic side, former Governor Roy Cooper. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey breaks down that race as Whatley and Cooper are vying for the seat being vacated by Senator Thom Tillis.
Democrat Roy Cooper and Republican Michael Whatley will be going head-to-head in the general election. The economy, cost of living, and tariffs were all major themes in Cooper's victory speech last night. He says the cost of living crisis was what motivated him to even get into this race.
The cost of groceries, child care, utilities, rent, health care, skyrocketing. Just overnight, we saw the price of gas spike.
Whatley says his campaign will focus on strengthening the economy, adding jobs. He promised voters he'd create a safer state while praising President Trump's policies.
A choice between a conservative champion for North Carolina, who will be an ally for President Trump in the Senate, or a champion for the failed policies of the left.
This November election is so critical because it could help determine which party controls the U.S. Senate. Cooper's first event to kick off his general election campaign starts this morning at 11 o'clock here in Raleigh, and we're working to find out when Whatley will hold his first event. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Meanwhile, the results for the 4th Congressional District's Democratic primary are still up in the air. Incumbent Valerie Ifushi currently leads challenger Nita alum by 1 percentage point. That places the race in recount territory. Therefore, it is too close to call this morning. And while this race for the 4th Congressional District is a primary, this race is for the most Democrat-leaning district in North Carolina. It is likely that the winner will take the House seat. In 2022, Ifushi beat alum by about 10 percentage points.
For the Democratic primary for Wake County District Attorney, Wiley Nickel won his party's nomination. He earned 49% of the vote, beating out Sharita Walton and Melanie Shakita. Nickel most recently served in the U.S. House for North Carolina's 13th district. He chose not to run for re-election after his district was redrawn to become a heavily favored Republican area. And in the Democratic primary for Durham District Attorney, incumbent Satana DeBerry will likely regain her seat. She beat out competitor Jonathan Wilson, earning 61% of the vote.
We will have much more throughout this newscast, and you'll want to hop over to our YouTube page. That's where you'll find the full speeches from Roy Cooper and Michael Whatley. We also have thoughts from Phil Berger and Sam Page on their race. And head over to WRAL.com for information about your local races.
Here in the WRAL Live Center, within the past 1 minute, we saw this press briefing just wrap up at the Pentagon from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, as well as Jane. And just to kind of talk a little bit more about what they were discussing in regard to the war on Iran right now, I can say that this is coming from the Defense Secretary saying that in addition to these attacks on Iran, they say the leader of a unit that tried to assassinate President Trump has been hunted down. That's his words there. He said that President Trump got the last laugh. Another person asked for a follow-up in terms of how they were able to determine this person was the one they were going to attack. And they say they were in a situation where they knew where this person was and the time was right to have some kind of airstrike in order to end that threat there. And then General King talked a little bit more about some of the other things that have been unfolding, saying that we're 103 hours into this attack campaign in Iran, also saying that, quote, we are destroying the Iranian Navy, talking about degrading its capacity, capability, and ability to conduct operations. And it seems like the next step in this process, according to him, is they're going to move inland now that they've managed to control Iranian airspace and waterways, according to them. We'll keep looking for more updates here on WRAL News. Stay with us all day and online on WRAL.com and our WRAL YouTube channel.
And Chris, as the war in Iran rages on, of course, we're keeping an eye on how it's affecting gas prices. According to AAA, the national average right now, $3.20. This is a 9-cent jump from yesterday, and it went up 11 cents Monday. North Carolina's average is now up to $3. In Raleigh alone, it's $3.04. WRAL will continue to monitor developments throughout the day on this situation developing all across the Middle East. You can find more information online at WRAL.com. And at some point today, just check out our WRAL YouTube page. You can also look for updates on Iran in our evening newscasts on WRAL and Fox 50. It all begins at 4 this afternoon. A former Wake County teacher and youth pastor facing child sex charges. Micah Von Dyke is charged with indecent liberties with a minor, soliciting a child by computer, and sexual exploitation. Holly Springs police say he was charged after an undercover operation. The Roseville High School principal sent a note to parents saying Von Dyke was a former career and technical teacher and assistant soccer coach at Roseville High until 2024. Now, his wife, Chloe Von Dyke, is currently an assistant principal at Roseville High School. She's facing felony charges related to drug possession. The principal says she's been suspended with pay.
The Wake County school leaders voted to demolish Ligon Middle School and rebuild it. And it took about 3 hours for the board to come to that unanimous decision. The school has a lot of history. Ligon replaced Washington High as Raleigh's only black high school during segregation. It later became a big part of integration. Board members promise now to preserve the school's legacy. Alumni tell us that they feel like history is being erased. The superintendent says a committee has been created dedicated to preserving the school's legacy.
Our teacher of the week is happiest when she's surrounded by her students. We'll show you how she uses her unique style of teaching to educate her first graders.
And Diddy release. Sean Diddy Combs could be getting out of prison sooner than expected, why his release date is now moving up and what he says he's been doing behind bars.
And today's the beginning of our big warm-up with temperatures making it into the 70s. We'll show you why we see multiple days in which it feels more like mid-May and less like early March, coming up in a few. 8:45 this morning. Temperatures looking up and feeling like mid-spring as we go through most of the week. And rain chances staying low. We're going to explain why here in just a second. Our severe weather threat is 0 for the next few days. But you start to see these storm systems getting going in the plains. So that's where the severe weather threat is today. That's where it is tomorrow. And then it stretches and becomes a little bit higher in parts of the plains and Midwest heading into Friday. That same front eventually brings in scattered showers and storms for us, perhaps as soon as Sunday. But between now and Saturday, high pressure is keeping all that away from us. And really, most of that widespread rain is going to be well to the northwest of here. In the meantime, we just see warmth building in with high temperatures in the upper 70s and lower 80s, at least through the weekend. Ken?
All right, Chris, we're staying on top of that breaking news in West Raleigh. Here's what we're talking about. It's Wade Avenue. The entrance ramp to 440 eastbound completely shut down because of an overturned semi. Here's what it looks like with the help of photographer Michael Joyner. You can see first responders at that scene. We're also told that it's a situation that involves a spill, so it's going to take a while to right this thing up and clean up that area, so plan accordingly. So as we bring you back here live into the WRAL Traffic Center, if you're on Wade Avenue this morning, your best bet would be to use Blue Ridge Road. Take Blue Ridge Road exit and avoid Wade Avenue right now. I'll keep an eye on it here in the WRAL Traffic Center.
What a mess. Okay, Ken, thank you. Sean Diddy Combs will be released from prison sooner than expected. The rapper is serving just over a 2-year sentence for charges related to prostitution. He's now set to be released April of 2028, just over 2 years from now. Combs was initially set to be released in June of 2028. In a letter to a judge during his original sentencing, Combs said that he had gotten sober for the first time in 25 years and had been attending therapy and started a mentor group for other inmates. The internet is a hunting ground for scammers to try to steal your money. It can be for $100 or $1,000. Scammers are relying more and more on the internet to take people's money. National Consumer Protection Week highlights fraud and scams across the country. Here locally, we're talking about millions of dollars in losses.
So in 2025, locally in our 48 county service area, which includes the Triangle, consumers that reported the scams to us lost over $2 million. And that's just the ones that were reported.
Tonight at 6, 5 on your side has a closer look at how real North Carolinians are getting duped.
Our teacher of the week is more than a 30-year veteran in the classroom. In that time, she's taught several grade levels, loving every minute of it. She's currently using her expertise in first grade at Forestville Road Elementary School in Wake County.
I see a 1, I see a 7.
Risha Mitchell is happiest when she is surrounded by her first grade students.
2 10s have a value of what?
20.
So are they the same?
No.
It's safe to say Miss Mitchell started preparing for a career in education at a very early age. How'd you get into teaching in the first place?
I played teacher with my cousins. I was the teacher. They were always the student.
She jokingly recalls running a tight ship as a pretend teacher, but having taught for more than 30 years as a credentialed teacher, she's developed her own unique style of getting the best out of her students.
If you notice, I want the students to speak more than me because they can truly show their understanding. If they're doing more of the talking than if I'm doing a bunch of speaking, I think they're the same. That's what I'm going to say. And sometimes I might say things incorrectly to see if they're going to find the mistake, which truly shows they understand the information.
Ms. Mitchell is known for her leadership, her tech-savvy skills, and organizing extracurricular activities outside the classroom. But it all comes back to her greatest desire, to see her students succeed.
I see growth in all of them and just the joy of wanting to learn. We all can learn. It doesn't matter how old you are. And honestly, it doesn't matter how many years you've taught. Everyone can learn something new.
Miss Mitchell. You are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give her a big round of applause, class. She's speechless. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. She was absolutely speechless. Now, if you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and a Teacher of the Week in the search box. And we're here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with meteorologist.
Well, after a cold and snowy winter, the time has come for us to spring forward, and that doesn't just mean for the weather. Daylight saving starts this Sunday at 2 a.m., giving most Americans an extra hour of evening light, but one less hour of sleep this weekend. This change can impact your sleep, but here are some tips from some experts. If you can, move your sleep time back by 15 minutes each day, set your alarm 15 minutes earlier each day, and open your curtains to get more sunlight. Okay, Ken, now you can take it.
Now I can say we're in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with meteorologist Chris Michael. So we had a couple of things in the last couple of days. Yesterday we had the lunar eclipse. Today we had that SpaceX launch. Yeah. And clouds yesterday, but some people were able to see the launch this morning.
Some people, yeah. You know, I kept looking outside and I'm like, here we go again. Clouds obscuring our view. But for Nancy in Hoke County, she was able to see it. But pretty cool.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's all it was. It was a SpaceX rocket launch that happened at about 5:52 this morning. Nothing to be concerned about. And again, Nancy getting a great shot of that. All right, let's take you out the door this morning. Hour by hour, temperatures continuing to climb. It already feels really good out there. Just a little bit of a crisp feel to the air. That is long gone as we head into the afternoon. Maybe you have a lunch break that you want to spend outside. Do it. If you can't do it today, do it tomorrow. If you can't do it tomorrow, do it the next day, all right? The next few days are going to be really nice. High temperatures this afternoon, making it into the low to mid 70s, which is about 15 degrees above average for this time of year. High pressure, you see how the arrows around it are going clockwise? Yeah, it's bringing in the warmth from the southwest. And this is going to be a pretty mainstaying feature in our weather. Notice as we head into tomorrow, more of that breeze, more of that warmth, highs near 80 degrees. And as that breeze gets a little stronger heading into Friday and Saturday, you'll see temperatures getting close to record levels in the low 80s. But a storm system is going to start to tap into that and give us at least the chance for some hit or miss showers and storms. It's a very limited chance Saturday. We'll start to factor it into the equation by Sunday and by Monday. Now, on average, you see your first 80-degree day of the year, March 18th. That's a long-term average. If you were to take it to the past 5 to 10 years, it happens a little bit sooner than that. Hey, back in 2002, we hit 80 degrees on January the 30th. That is pretty wild. So all in all, we're hitting it just about on time, but we're going to see a few days of it. And then above average temperatures are continuing to be likely in the next 6 to 10 days. So this is not one of those quick warm-ups. It's actually something that's going to last for quite some time, but cold spells will still happen, even though it seems very warm over the next 6 to 10 days. So for today, mid-70s. Out the door tomorrow and Friday mornings, you may not even need a jacket. It'll be pretty mild. I can say the same for the weekend as well. And then, of course, we turn the clocks forward ahead 1 hour, as Laura was talking about. That's going to be Sunday morning, and we're still going to be feeling like spring into early next week. Laura?
We'll take it. Chris, thank you. Before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers, and we'll get another check on weather and traffic next.